Hi, and thank you for joining this session on powerful reporting in QuickBooks. My name is Rochelle O'Brien, and I'm a product manager at QuickBooks UK. Reporting is such a crucial part of QuickBooks for our accounting and bookkeeping partners. So during this session, I'm going to shine a spotlight on a few areas which I think are going to help you get the most out of this powerful tool in QuickBooks. The first and biggest one is the Performance Center. Let's take a look at that in product now. I'll start off in my reports section, which gives me all of the standard reports that you guys are familiar with. The Performance Center is the new part. So in the Performance Center, I've got a number of charts. So straight away it's hitting you, it's a super visual area. If you were previously familiar with the business snapshot or the business overview, you'll know that that was a report which contained probably the most visual elements of reporting in QuickBooks. That was until now. So with the Performance Center, it takes all of the information that was already there, all the information that you've entered in terms of your bookkeeping, but also all of the reports which are already available. But now it's displaying them in a very different way. And what will happen when you go in there first is we'll give you a number of different reports to view just as a standard. And what we think might be of value to accountants and bookkeepers is the ones you see here. So things like the accounts receivable by aging period, the expenses by time. If you scroll down, you're also given information about gross profit, ratios, net profit. And not only do you see them, but you also see the comparison as well. So they're available as those line graphs, with that broken line being the current ratio for the previous year, for example. And that's the previous year for the same period. So that's your starting point. The great thing about this is it's super customizable. So you'll notice there you've got an option to change the year. So expenses by time is showing me as a default this year to date, but actually there are a huge number of periods that I could use. I just need to use that drop down option. The other thing you can do is if you notice there's kind of those three dots in the top right hand corner. So when I click on that, it's going to allow me to either edit the chart, export the chart, or delete the chart. And I'll come back to that a little bit later on. Across the top, you've got the options to quick add charts. And if I click the drop down, you can see there are a number of different charts that I could add very quickly. I'll try with maybe expenses over time. So I'll click on that and you'll notice that it's called it expenses over time too, because obviously I already had that one available. I probably don't want to be adding the same report over and over. So what I might use this time is actually this add new chart button, because this is where it gets really powerful. I'm going to choose a revenue. Okay, so I want to track some revenue and I click continue. Once I'm in there, you can see there are a number of customization options on the left hand side. I could change the name, the time period, and I could also group by. So I'll just see what that's about. Okay, if I click the drop down arrow, you can see there are actually a number of different areas. And I think I'm going to use locations, because in this file what I've done is I've actually separated my revenue by geographical location. So if I click on locations, you can see that I could either just select one or I could select multiple. So I think I will look at East and also maybe West. I could go further. I could start to filter. I could change the comparison and I'll just click into those areas so you can see the options. So I could filter by something else, maybe by classes, items, customer, or income. And I could change the comparison time period. But for now, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep it as the trend line, and I'm going to add that new report to my dashboard. So now you can see that actually the trend is quite similar across my East and West revenue for this period, for the year to date. But it's given me that information. And it didn't take me too long to actually create that report. So now that it's on my dashboard, you can see that I can watch the trend of East and West. So it was quite easy to customize, but powerfully it gives me that visual data. So, you're going to the trouble of getting all this information, brilliant client information, into QuickBooks. So what you want to make sure is that you're actually capturing that in a way that makes sense to you and your team. And once you've done that, that's maybe where you want to use some of the export options. If you want to share this information with interested parties, or if you just like to look at maybe a hard copy or include it on certain reports for your clients, that's easy to do as well. In the top, just below add new chart, I've got this export option. You can see it's in beta. It's a little arrow in the page. And what it'll do is it'll download all those reports to a PDF. In addition to that, it kind of gives me an extra little bit of information underneath as well. I can click in and find that brilliant information across the board. If I wanted, I could also, if I just go back in, I could just export for that particular chart. Okay, and that's where the export chart option comes in. If I decide that actually I don't want to see the information, I could just delete the chart. I could also edit the chart. Maybe I don't want to call it revenue 2. I maybe want to call it revenue east-west. So that's kind of an overview of that performance center. Remember that we'll give you some reports that we think are useful to you, but really the power comes from when you actually start to use that add new chart button yourself and really just try and capture the information that you want to see. But that's the performance center. Staying within my reports, I'm going to open up a profit and loss report just to show you something else as well. This was added during the year, which is just the ability to customize the labels on your report. So I'm going to open up a profit and loss. You can see it's similar to before, profit and loss you'll be accustomed to. But one of the things we've got now is this edit titles option. If I click on edit titles, you can see that there are a number of different titles to my report. I can actually change the names of it. Again, some feedback from accountants and bookkeepers we work with is that, they like to be able to customize this area in order to provide their client with the information they need. So they might need to change the names of their reports depending on how they want their final report to appear. So you can edit the section titles for that report as you see fit. The other thing it does across here is see a chart. So what that will do is it will take me back into the performance center. Okay, so where you want to actually see that information. So that's just linked into the reports. The final thing I just want to show you and make you aware of is a very new feature which has just been added into QuickBooks, and that is the ability to see the outstanding VAT on a accounts receivable or accounts payable aging detail report. So to get to my aging detail report, I'm going to go to reports on the left navigation. I'm going to go into my standard reports and I'm just going to actually search accounts receivable aging detail. I can see that as of today, I have got a outstanding amount and an open balance of 6,000. For accountants and bookkeepers who are working with clients on a cash basis where they need to reconcile their VAT, what they really want to see on this report is the outstanding VAT. So if I click on the little settings cog here and I click on show more, there's a new option which is showing me my outstanding tax amount. So I tick the box, come back to my report, and you can see this extra column. The other way I could have found that is if I clicked customize on the top, and if I clicked on change columns here, these are all the columns that I could actually add, and you can see that my outstanding tax amount is there. So when you're in any type of report in QuickBooks, usually you'll have this option, customize on the right hand side, and within many of the reports you can actually include many items which are not currently there. So that's my outstanding tax amount. And I know from speaking to a lot of accountants that's something that they really wanted to see. It's been added, it's in your AR aging detail and also your AP aging detail. One thing that you might want to do if it's something that you view regularly is save that customization. So I'm just going to say OT and I'm going to save it to a group called VAT reconciliations. So whenever I need it, now that it's been saved, just go into my custom reports and you can see I'd actually done it before as well. So I just click on that report and just run it whenever I need it. That's an overview of reports in QuickBooks. So some of the new features that you've seen throughout the year, Performance Center, editing your labels, and also that new outstanding tax button as well. That's it from me on reporting. I hope that you can start using those features and areas to get the most out of QuickBooks and provide meaningful insights to your clients. Thank you.